Welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. The 3 keys to your success is just moments away. Here's your host, Brian Kelly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. I say this nearly every episode, and I mean it. I am so excited because of our guest expert who's coming on very, very soon. Why I am so excited is because what this gentleman is expert at is the very area that I consider to be the foundation for all success, whether that be business and personal life, all of it. It is the foundation. And we have an absolute true expert in the house with us tonight, and we are going to go deep into some wonderful mindset topics. You are in for a great ride, and I cannot wait to bring him on. And we'll do that in just a moment. The Mind Body Business Show. The whole purpose of this show is to help people like you, entrepreneurs and business professionals who are looking to find that one recipe for success. And the thing is, there's good news, is that recipe exists. In fact, there are many recipes, just like a cake. There are many successful recipes to make a cake. How many do you need to make a cake? Well, it's even better news. You just need one. So all you need to do is find one recipe that works and follow it. And that's what this show is about, is giving you those recipes that you can take and follow and model. And so what you're going to be able to do is listen to this guest expert, his incredible insights and wisdom, and follow what he does to achieve success at the level he is. That's all you have to do. You have our permission to copy. So it's fantastic. That's about mind. Mind is all about mindset. It's about from a subconscious level. That's why I'm so excited, because we're going to go and explain this at a deeper level this very evening. So get excited yourself. And also, when you're on, love having you on. Welcome everybody who's watching live. Be sure to comment, say hi, give us some likes and loves, and we'll give you a shout out on the show as we see you come in. We love to interact with you. And body, what is that about? Well, that's about literally your body and taking care of it. Successful people I have found follow 3 pillars or patterns for success, and that's in the areas of mind, body, and business. The second one is body, and that is taking care of yourself with nutrition, fuel, and taking care of yourself also from the external as well as internal by exercising. Yeah, that long 4-letter word many of you think about. It is amazing how you will see your productivity increase just by moving, just by doing it on a regular basis. And then business. Business is multifaceted. We're talking about mastering skill sets such as sales, marketing, team building, scaling, systematizing, you name it. And that's the thing. The people I have focused on over the last decade or so are those that are successful. And I found that those 3 traits, each successful person has mastered 2 or 3 of all of those traits. And when you are able to master mindset, which I personally believe is the absolute number one that anyone should focus on if they haven't done it yet before the other 2. All you have to do is master mindset, and the other 2 will definitely follow. I kid you not. And in that realm, we're going to bring on a guest expert. It's not just me talking about it. We're going to bring a gentleman on who knows this stuff inside and out, no pun intended. Regarding puns, there are a lot of books written on puns, and I'm going to segue into books. Books are very important for success. One of the other great key ingredients for successful people is that they read, and they read voraciously. And we're not just talking any books. We're talking very specific books that are helpful both on a business and personal level. And with that, I'm going to segue directly into a segment I appropriately call Bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
Yes, reachyourpeaklibrary.com. By the way, for those of you watching right now live, or if you're watching or even listening to the recording later on podcast, stick with us and just take notes. If you're driving, please don't take notes right now. But if you are watching this live and you're in an environment where you can take notes, do that instead of running off to check out these resources that you see during the show. ReachYourPeakLibrary.com. Just write that down and stay with us, because all the magic happens, as they say, in the room. So stick with us. So ReachYourPeakLibrary.com. That is a website I developed literally as a gift for all of you. It is my gift to you. And what it is a compilation of books that have had profound impact in my life personally and in business. And so what I've done is I compiled a list of about 40 or so, way behind. There are many more beyond this that I need to add. But the beautiful thing with this is if you're not reading avidly right now, this is a great place to start, because at least one successful person has vetted these by reading them and got some results from them, i.e. yours truly. And if you already are a avid reader, you might find a book in here that you have not yet read. That's another great resource for you to come to. I love getting recommendations from other entrepreneurial friends. We're going to have a book that we're going to be showcasing tonight by the very gentleman that's coming on, who's authored that said book, and it's going to be amazing. And speaking of that, I want to get to it. Let's get to it. Let's talk with our guest expert, because this show is about my guests, not about me, and I cannot wait to share this amazing man's value with you. So let's jump right on to it, shall we? Yes, let's shall.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there he is not. He has just disappeared from the room. Oh, what a great entrance. I love it.
I want to make one of those good entrances.
The grand entrance. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John James Santangelo, as it says right there on the screen.
My friends.
Yes.
Hi, buddy.
Welcome, buddy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy that you are on the show right now. This is going to be amazing. Before I formally introduce this amazing gentleman, I wanted to remind everybody watching right now live that you have the opportunity, if you stick with us till the end, you have the opportunity to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star Mexican resort. All compliments of my good buddies at powertexting.com. There are other gifts coming in addition to that. A little birdie told me with a blue shirt that's standing with his hands together said that there's another gift that may be offered. Yes, it definitely will be at the end of the show. So stick with us to the end. And because it's an amazing, valuable gift, I know about it. I have the gift, and I got to taste it a little bit, and it's very tasty. So let's bring on our gentleman for real. Our guest expert this evening is a dynamic and entertaining gentleman, which you will find out in just a moment, who comes to us from Westlake Village, California. He is a communication skills expert, vital to a business or personal life, both. Certified NLP trainer, doctor of clinical hypnotherapy, and a professional life coach. But wait, there's more. He's a volunteer for the Big Brothers and Sisters of America Association, so he's a giver. He has a serving heart. I know this gentleman now personally, and I can attest to this and vet him for you that everything that I'm reading is absolutely spot on. And Chrysalis, a homeless rehabilitation program, as well as a spokesperson for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I love this. He's coached and worked with companies such as, listen to this list, the Learning Annex, Xerox, Mary Kay, City of Hope, WellPoint, Microsoft, Multiple-Sclerosis Society, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, and he works regularly with the Teamsters Union. Thank you very much. That's our show for tonight. I am exhausted from that bio. I'm just kidding. And weeks after 9/11, as head trainer teaching lie detection skills to the U.S. Army counterintelligence team. My goodness, it gets better. Here to help guide us with his wisdom and magic on discovering NLP. I cannot wait for this. The methodology of achievement. Please help me welcome John James Santangelo, PhD. Yes.
What's up, buddy?
Hey. Whew, man, I really am kind of
finally. I've been like stressing out for 2 weeks about this show. You know, does my hair look good? Did I get the right shirt? You know,
yeah,
I comb my beard. Oh, I shaved my beard. You still have yours. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, there's a couple of hairs out of place, but I won't point them out right on top. So we love to have fun, as you'll find out during this show. John and I, we're like junior high school kids at times, where we just are going back and forth, joking around.
Okay, we got to tell the story though, because that story's funny. So you did a live show for a friend, Noah, and then her roommate Bart, And then Bart said, hey, you have to go contact Brian because he's crazy. You're going to love him and you got to get on his show. So Bart Smith, bartsmithbooks.com, help us write my couple books. Anyway, not plugging him in any way. I'm just saying we were crazy enough. We said, we got to go to this guy's house. We got to see what this guy's all about. So we drove up an hour and a half to see Brian and him and his wife, wonderful people. God love you, buddy. Seriously. Oh. And what a great time we had. And it's just made such a relationship grow through the camera now as well, because we know each other a little bit.
Yeah, it was a blast. And I was just so humbled that two of you would come driving all the way, especially you cooped up with your buddy.
Ask him if I can go. I want to go see, I want to meet this guy before I get on live with this.
Can I play?
Shy, you know?
I love it. So, hey, man, I love, wow, the bio itself speaks volumes about your accolades, your accomplishments, your experience, and it truly is impressive. And
it took a lot of work to get there, and you know as well.
Yeah.
You know, as many people as you have is, you know, getting in. I started in this professional speaking business first, and I studied with some of the greats, Dottie Walters. I attended so many seminars, webinars like you, learning. There wasn't the internet back then in 1904 when I started. And so, you know, I had to do this on my own. I thought, okay, what are my accomplishments? So I went out and did all this volunteer work, did a lot of work. You know, here's the real question. Why are people going to listen to me? Right? Why are they going to listen to me?
You know what? I know the answer.
Why?
Because they want the results that you have.
Well, that's true. And that's, you know, you've got to do the work first, right? To get the results that you want. And that's really what NLP is about, the modeling of success, and then being able to replicate it and then teaching other people.
Well, here's the thing with that whole thing. I'm glad you brought that up is, you know, it takes a lot of work. The issue for many, and it was for me for decades, was, I worked my ever-living butt off on everything I learned at all these seminars, and I still saw nothing as far as where I wanted to go. Absolutely. And what it came down to, it's still all about working hard, but it's knowing what to work on.
Yep.
And the recipe, that's why I brought that up in the beginning. It is so important to at least have a known path that you know the odds are really great. If all you do is follow it, work very hard and get stuff done. But if you follow it, you will definitely achieve success. Like that cake, you're gonna have a success cake at the end of it.
Yeah, you definitely have to work hard. I mean, that's the thing. I think, you know, we hear it so often now is the children that are growing up, they're catered to, their parents cater them, they're catered to, and they don't want to work hard. They don't want to put in the effort. They want immediate gratification, which is fine. We all do. Then you realize you start getting older in life. Like, why don't I have what I want? I'm 40 years old. I'm 50 years old. I'm 60 years old. I haven't accomplished the things that I wanted in life. I wonder, you got to plant good seeds. It's like a great garden. You got to do the work in the beginning and plant good seeds and take care of it, till the soil, pull the weeds. It's one of the things Tony Robbins says. You got to pull your weeds, you know?
Yeah, and so true. And the good news is, though, it's never too late to begin. It's never too late.
Absolutely.
Because for me personally, I didn't even learn of NLP. I had heard the letters. I knew nothing about it, but I didn't even learn about it till about 7 years ago.
Oh, really?
And it has changed my life immensely, profoundly. And I'm not a woo-woo guy and all, you know, it changed my life on everything that happens to me. It's NLP changed my life for sure, in a great way.
That's a perfect explanation of, I guess, the results of what NLP really is. Because if you go into the computer and you type in NLP, you know, WikiLeaks shows up first. What is it called? Wikipedia. And it has such a negative connotation to it. Oh, it's a pseudoscience, this and that. Well, that's all great. You can say that about medicine too. You can say that about AA. AA has a 3% success rate. So if we're talking about results, it's a whole different issue, right? It's the results that you produce. So if somebody gives you the recipe to a cake, you can make that cake exactly. Why would you want to go out and do it on your own? Right? Why do you want to go out and lose the weight by yourself if somebody can teach you how to do it? Why do you want to go out and go through thousands of relationships to find the right one if you can find somebody that has what you need and they can tell you how to do it? seems kind of mindless to me, but some
Yeah,
people are interested.
in my walk, I found there are two primary areas that keep people from doing what you're saying, and that is one, ego, right?
Yep.
They just their ego gets in the way, and
Yeah.
I can do this by myself. That is why they're not doing it. Number two is we were brought up, because we're now calling this modeling something or someone. What is what? That's a fancy word for what? Copy.
Right.
When we're little kids, what are we told about copying?
Right. It's not
Bad. Don't do that, Johnny, or you're going to get whacked on the hand with a ruler. Back when I went to school, we got whacked. And but there's a very distinct difference between modeling and copying, and what they are calling and what it truly was cheating.
Right.
So that's different. And but many people associate modeling and copying with that whole experience.
There you
and
go.
because of ego, and they're afraid because of the negative anchors that have been set with cheating or copying, they just never branch out. So John and I give you permission right now to copy.
You're talking about our beliefs that we learn.
Yes.
I keep talking to my screen, looking at Brian here, and the camera's up here. Sorry. We learn these beliefs at such a young age, and it's before 7 to 8 years old. We model everything about what we know. They say, and there's objectionable advice about this, whether things are learned, everything's learned in life, or do we grasp some of it later on? I personally believe that the majority of who we are and what we become are taught by our primary caretakers before 7 years old. Whoever that was for you. Could have been your grandparents, could have been your mother, could have been both parents, could have been your father. It could have been you lived in an orphan home. Whatever those beliefs are that you learn, you've modeled that success. Now, success is interesting words Brian and I were talking about, because success could be a bad thing as well. Success in modeling, whatever that is, it doesn't mean it has to work, because bad habits are learned that we take on later into life as well, that we try to get rid of. And those are the students I get. It's like, oh, okay, I'm bad at relationships. I'm bad at my financial abundance. I'm bad at being this. I'm bad at doing this. I'm too this. I'm not enough of that. So we learn all this at a very young age, and it's so hard to uncondition that later on in life, because those things are kind of hardwired in our system after a while. 7, 8, 10 years old. What do they say? There's literally a quote that's 85% of who we become. 85% of our personality and our attitude is built in by the time we're 8. 95 by the time we're 18. By the time you're 21 years old, you are who you are. Very little room for change. Interesting quote. Just saying.
And I love the fact that the good news is there is this science that's comprised of 3 letters that
we can change it.
You can now access and tap into what you had learned way back then.
Yep.
For me, it's way back then. And
boy, Brian, I'll tell you, as funny as it is that we're talking here, and you could say it's fortuitous, but the fact that you and I have gone through the same thing almost, some of the stories you tell, I'm like, well, that was me. Oh my gosh. And one of them was growing up, just like you said, you learn the right things to do. Like I said, you've read the books, you've done the webinars, you've done the seminars, you've done the live events. You learn the what to do, but you don't know how to do it. You get out of the webinar, you get done reading the book, and nothing changes, as you just said a while ago. And that's where the reprogramming has to come in. It has to. There's a gentleman, I don't know if you've heard of this doctor's name's Bruce Lipton. You heard of Bruce Lipton? The Biology of Belief. Go check it out, biologyofbelief.com. He says there's three things to change. One of them is you've got to bypass the analytical brain, the conscious mind, and go into the subconscious. And that's usually done through some form of hypnosis, because at some point, folks, we're all hypnotized by the things in life. The second thing is by practice. How did you learn how to drive a car? How did you learn how to walk? We practice those things, and we're not very good at them, but after enough practice, it gets into the muscle. Like one of my instructors used to said, it's muscle memory. You get into the muscle, and pretty soon the brain just becomes like an automatic pilot. And we replicate these habits or strategies over and over again. Think about it, folks. Learning to drive a car, just the best analogy. The The first time you got in the car driving, it was like hands at 10 and 2, make sure the mirror and the sound's off. There's no radio. Nobody's talking, but then now what? 20 years later, you could be putting on an eyeshadow if you're a woman. You'd be drinking with the radio on, iPad, and checking your friends out in the backseat, and the car's basically on autopilot because the brain learns on autopilot. The unfortunate part is we take these same negative strategies that are on autopilot as well. And we can, as Brian was just saying, we can condition or recondition better strategies in. We can reprogram those negative strategies.
That's a perfect segue. So what I want to do is back up to one thing you talked about and then ask you the question that will kind of bring this together for everyone watching. And that is when you talked about the Wikipedia definition of NLP. I went through I learned NLP. I realized how amazing it was. Then I went back to see, well, what do people see when they search for it?
Right.
Wow, I was disappointed in what is being reported about NLP because it was naysayers. Yeah. So right now, John, let's set the ship right. What exactly is NLP? From, I know you're an expert. I'm a master practitioner. We know what NLP is, but tell the layman, what is NLP and why should they learn more about it?
Here's the definition by the co-developer: an attitude and methodology that leaves behind a trail of techniques. My students go, what does that mean?
Exactly.
My mom still doesn't know what I do. So here's really how NLP started. It's actually really simple. It was 20-year-old math genius in the early 70s up at Santa Cruz University. He was asked by a therapist, hey, could you transcribe some of my therapy sessions? His name was Richard Bandler. He was just a young kid. And he took down notes and he said, my God, I could get the same result using language that this therapist is getting. So Richard started teaching classes at the university. He was a student there as well. He'd commandeer a classroom and he'd go out and he'd market it a little bit and he'd get kids in and they'd learn this and they'd go out and change the world. Well, then one of the linguist professor that was actually on campus came to one of the classes one day. He says, hey, I can help you with that. And then they started combining their efforts and really getting down to distilling out the garbage in the language and using the specific language structure, embedded commands. We can get into anchoring, things like that. That's a little bit more complex for this program. And they took it and they modeled some of the best people, best teachers, best athletes, best salespeople, anybody that was doing something at a high level. They could model what they were doing using their language, their physiology, and their beliefs. So neuro-linguistic programming means neuro, the mind body, how we're connected here. And by the way, did you know this? That the mind body was separate, a separate entity in the medical field until Deepak Chopra came along and he coined the term mind body or body mind. Then language, the linguistic part, the language is, everybody does this, how we talk to ourselves inside that internal self-dialogue, whether it's inhibiting or it's propelling you forward. And then programming means the strategies that we run. We have millions of strategies that we do every day. You have a strategy for brushing your teeth. You have one for going to the bathroom. You have one for eating. You have one for talking to people. You have one for being on the microphone. You have one for everything you do in life. Because if you didn't, you'd have to relearn it every single time. So neuro-linguistic programming means how we use our mind body to communicate with ourselves and other people to produce the results in the world. That's really what it is.
And the beautiful thing, there's so many beautiful things about NLP, is number one, it is truly a science. Number two, it works. We're products of the product.
That's number one.
And number three, it is very, very fast. In fact, I remember my first time ever experiencing it in the audience.
What was the thing that made you go, whoa?
Yeah. So I'm in the audience, and this gentleman who was to become my mentor, and who I was going to go on stage and do the very thing he was doing for me later, but he was taking us through an NLP process, and it was timeline, and it was basically releasing fear, and we're talking about hesitation, resistance kind of fear, not fight or flight fear. And I just remember sitting there and going through the process. It literally took 6 or 7 minutes, the whole thing. Yep. And then we got finished, and I didn't notice, like, wow, I feel so different at that moment. I
Right.
noticed I could tell something was different. I just couldn't figure it out.
Right.
And I just let it go.
Yeah.
And I did it didn't take long where I realized that I had this sense of liberation.
Right.
I felt free. I felt uninhibited. I felt really good. And this was just one little process.
Yeah.
And then since that time, of course, and then I said, I have to not only do more of this for myself, I was thinking way more for
Right.
all the people I could help, not for myself, but my kids, my wife, my colleagues, my clients, everybody I came in contact with.
Because, when there's a great quote, you change your mental attitude and the world around you will change accordingly. That's Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich. And when you change, the world changes because you look at it differently and then you behave differently. And then obviously people are going to respond differently to you.
Yeah.
That's the key.
It's amazing.
Right? You've got to affect the results in the outside world, which most people don't really understand. They think if I work hard on someone else or something else, I'll get what I want. But that's not the case. You can only get what you believe you're capable. And this is what I've come to learn. Most of the people, and I would almost just say all of the people in the world, every single one of us, the reason we don't have what we want and we need and we desire is because we don't feel worthy of it. That is the core essence of who we are, our worthiness. Not just so much your self-confidence or your self-esteem, but your worthiness. When you feel worthy, then the world is your oyster. You go out and you want to accomplish everything because you can at that point. There's nothing to stop you. Literally, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like, I don't deserve that.
Right. How many people say that to themselves?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll never have that much money. I'll never drive that beautiful car. I'll never have that perfect wife. Honey, come in here. I'll show you her. No. She's in the other room.
There's proof. You can have it.
Bree.
We've got it coming into the room right now.
See, I just got married in November, right after the fires here, and I obtained one of one of the kids,
Nice.
my wonderful stepdaughter, Bree. Hi, Bree. Say hi, Bree.
Hi.
So that's part of thank you, Bree. That's part of what life is about as well, right? I mean, because success isn't just about having things like money and cars. It's nice, definitely. I think for men it's more important than it is for women.
Yeah.
And women they want untangible things as well. Not to say they don't want the nice car and the nice house and the clothes. Okay, maybe the clothes, for sure the shoes.
Let's hit the nail a little more on the head for folks watching now. So we're giving it kind of what we would call a pre-frame. We're framing it. We're stating this is what NLP is. It's not woo-woo. It's real. It works. There are lots of things we could say about it. You don't actually have to drift off into sleep. In fact, you need to stay awake in order for this to be effective.
No, it's not hypnosis.
Even with hypnosis, the same thing. But let's dive into the exact types of things that NLP can help people with. What are the types of processes? I mean, what processes help? What kind of issues that people have that once they clear them up in these 7-minute or less or slightly more different processes, what things can be cleared up? What are they suffering from that NLP and you can help them with?
Now, from a therapeutic standpoint, there's plenty. And I'll give you one story, which is, I don't even think I told you this, Brian. It was so funny. One of the gentlemen that was going through my first practitioner class like 20 years ago, he was already a therapist and he was a doctor. And he said, he turned to me one day and I literally fell on the floor laughing. He says, "Oh my God." He goes, "You know how many people have phobias?" He goes, "I could cure a phobia in like 20 minutes. And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." He goes, "You know how much I could charge? I could charge like $300. I go, "No one's going to pay you $300 to get rid of a phobia. That's ridiculous." To this day, Robert Mantell, fearandthepower.com, charges $8,000. You know why? Because if you have a phobia getting on an elevator and you work in a building where you can't get to the top and you got to take the stairs every day, or you need to go see your kids back, so you can't get on a plane, or you can't get out of your house because you have agoraphobia, doesn't mean you live in Agora. You can't get out of your house because you have a social phobia. You will pay whatever it takes to get rid of that.
Yes.
The unfortunate thing, my aunt has a phobia to snake, right? It's ridiculous. One night we're having a party at the house and I totally forgot I had a plastic snake sitting on the rock out front of the house. My buddy comes in and says, "Your aunt is running down the street and it's midnight." And I'm like, what? I go running after her. It's midnight. She's running down the street. And I'm like, what is the problem? She goes, there's a, I go, what? She goes, I said, slow. There's a snake. And I'm like, a snake? Where? And I went, oh my God, it's on the front porch. When she walked outside, she saw it and she bolted down the street. Now, if you have a phobia, if anybody has a phobia, you get it. You understand that. There's no rational explanation to it. It may be one time, somebody threw a plastic snake at her. She saw a real one, and it's called a one trial learn. And that's it. It's ingrained. It becomes automatic habit. There's no reasoning between seeing the snake and bolting down the street. It's what's called a synesthesia. We just, boom, it's over. And I said, I can take care of that. She goes, no, I don't want to even talk about it. But that's how phobics are. They don't even want to talk about it. Well, when Richard was putting this strategy together, he modeled some of the best, say the best phobics. He said some of these phobics that had bypassed the phobia on their own. He said, what are you doing now that you didn't do back then? He goes, you know what? He goes, I see the pictures all in black and white in my head, and I run them backwards. Well, he started distilling out what all these people did, and that's basically what happened. That's how we invented the phobia cure. You run the movie in your head backwards in black and white, and then run it forward as fast as you can. It's a 20-minute process, but it works every single time. So that's one thing, right? Phobias, negative self-talk. How many of you ever talk bad to yourself? Right? Like, I can't do this. This will never happen. I'm too fat. I'm too skinny. I'm not rich enough. It's all negative self-talk, right? It's probably one of the most, what's the word I'm looking for? It's probably one of the most destructive elements of our psyche is our negative self-talk, right? I had a woman in class recently that had an allergy to cats. And people think, oh my God, once I have an allergy, it's over. We have a process for that. It's a half hour. Get rid of it. She came back the next weekend and she's like, oh my God, she's petting a cat. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. We have ones for nail biting. It's called a swish pattern, right? There's amazing things because the brain is a simple computer. It really is. It's just a simple computer. And once you understand the mechanics of it, it'd be like me and Brian going into our computers and being able to change the software. Well, the hardware is already there. That's the mind body. We change the software, you're going to get something completely different that shows up on the screen of your mind. It's kind of like a great metaphor for.
Great analogy. Yeah. Love that. There's so many things. One of my favorite, there are so many. Limiting beliefs was one of them.
Limiting beliefs.
Which
right?
You named a couple, like I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm a woman, I'm a man, because I'm, whatever. It's
right.
Whatever your limiting beliefs are. And it's like you said earlier, it's plucking weeds from the garden and letting those beautiful flowers flourish. One of the most amazing ones for me personally was creating instant rapport. And that has helped me so much, specifically in business, and then that moved over and crossed over into personal life as well. Yeah. I used to literally, John, you may not believe this because you see me as this outgoing crazy man.
You were probably really shy, weren't you?
I was extremely shy. I did not like interacting with people. I love people. I just didn't want to talk to them. I didn't know how. I didn't know this then. Right. But I'm like shying away from, if I got in an elevator and there's only one other person, I'm like freaking out because it's uncomfortable because it's quiet. And now I'll get in an elevator with 15 others and I'm the only one talking, because I'm building rapport and it's fun. It's amazing. It's amazing.
And that's one of the things you said before, Brian, is in order to do that, you also have to get past your own ego, to think that people are judging you and ridiculing you. And you look at one of the things Richard Bandler said, I love it. He goes, when we get into an elevator, we go into elevator hypnosis. Everybody stands there and looks up at the number.
It's so true.
Right? And it's great. My wife, she's in here because she's a testament to it. I'm crazy. I will test people. I'll say weird things to them just to see how they're going to react, to test my rapport skills, test my comedy, sometimes just to test to see if they're paying attention. Because most people want to feel like they're part of this world. They're part of, they're engaging in it. And if you don't engage with most people, they're not going to go out of their way to engage with you.
Yeah.
So with these rapport skills that you're talking about, my God, that's a great story, Brian. Seriously, if that got you out of your shell, whatever that shell you call, if that got you out of your comfort zone, let's say, and help you step beyond your ego as well, guaranteed it's going to return to you tenfold as far as business and relationships.
Already has. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, no doubt.
Absolutely.
To me, life is now so much more joyful as a result of just that one thing.
Yeah.
Just that one thing. And, like we'll be in an elevator, and if somebody happens to scuff their shoes on the floor and it makes a weird sound, I'll say, excuse me, actually, that wasn't me, but, and then it's like, wow, did anybody smell that? Oh, no, that wasn't, just to break the ice. And
that's funny.
The interesting thing is, if you have a long ride up and you do that in the beginning, you're best friends all the way up instantly.
It's true.
Instantly. Yeah. Just to have a little fun sometimes it's just say, because when you say they're all like this, right, and their eyes are up, it's like, don't make eye contact, don't do it, don't, you're telling yourself not to look at the other person.
On a serious note with rapport, because we're talking about it jokingly, on a serious note, we're human doings, not so much human beings. We do behavior, and people look at us and they look at that behavior and they judge us through that behavior. True. Unfortunately, just the way life is, right? And we want to be connected to other people. And one of the things that I say in class, I do a 12-day certification class because it's about how long it takes, 120 hours, is that, think about this, and I'll say it to you too. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about you. Nobody. Because answer this question. How many people throughout your day that you meet throughout your day actually get your attention? That you give them some of your attention units, that you give them some likability. God forbid you give them love. How many people? Very rarely. Most people probably one, if none. On one hand, how many people touch us throughout the day? And I believe, and this is the thing that I teach in all my courses as well as when I'm out professional speaking to corporations, is build rapport with people. It's going to be the single greatest asset you have, that if you can bring people in and bring them into your world, because one of the presuppositions of NLP is respect the other person's model of their world. Because as Zig Ziglar said, you can have anything you want in this world if you first help enough other people get what they want. And I truly believe that wholeheartedly. Truly.
Love it. We're getting coaching from your buddy Bart, man.
What's he say? Hi, Bart.
He's giving us camera tips and telling us both to look into the camera.
I know. I'm sorry. I keep looking at Brian on the screen here rather than up in the guest. I'm working it. I'm learning. This is the first time I've ever done a live interview before. I'm sorry. How's my hair?
So Bart is a close friend of John and now mine that came over to my house together and spent a day, and we had a blast. So love you, Bart. Love you a lot, man. You're an awesome dude and always there supporting John and myself. And by the way, I just want to give a quick shout out to that thing behind over John's left or right shoulder on our left side of our screen. That's a book he just authored, recently published, called Discovering NLP, as you can see there. I have a copy of it here, and I highly recommend you grab a copy because it's not one of those superficial, just scraping the surface types of books. It literally goes in deep into the advanced topics that you will learn by going to one of John's boot camp seminars. I don't even know what you call them, but gathering for
live
those
certification trainings.
Yeah. The thing is though, it really, unless you've done it once before, you need to go and do it in person with a master trainer such as John. I kid you not. Nothing wrong with reading the book first at all, but definitely then partake in John's class. He lives in the Los Angeles area, and the name of his website is LA for Los Angeles, LA NLP. So it's just letters for neurolinguistic programming. So go check that out. And in a moment, we're going to, don't tell that on screen, Bart says, and smiley face. And in a moment, we're going to talk about how you can actually get a piece of John and take it home with you and learn to see if you want to go farther with him, because I listened to, and it's actually quite a lot that he's going to give to you for free here in just a moment.
Cram the whole 3 hours into 1 hour.
It's an amazing, and I was listening to it in awe, thinking, my gosh, John is really good at this, really good at this. because I've been through 2 different trainers myself, learned,
Yeah.
And I've seen others, and so I get to compare. And I thought you compared very well against the others.
Isn't it interesting to try to explain to me what NLP is before you took a class?
Oh,
right?
Never.
And now try to explain it after you got certified and you've gone through a couple courses. It's changed your whole being. So there's no way through this camera or even listening to audio I could explain to anyone unless you've gone through the certification course. It's like starting out driving a car and you've never even sat behind a wheel. And then after months or maybe years later, you're like, oh yeah, now I got it. You have a knowing about what it is. And there's no way to really fully explain. Like Robert Dilts used to say, you got to get it into the muscle to really understand what that is.
Yeah, I just tell people the best way to understand it is to experience it. And
Yep.
And I know that the remarks are going to come back, oh, you're just trying to sell me on coming to the bigger course. I'm like,
yes, I am.
And you know what?
This is what I do. This is what Brian does. It just drives me crazy when they do that. Oh, you just want to sell your products. I like to eat. I like the roof over my head. I like to make money. I like to share my gifts, and how I do that is through the products that I do. And I give most of them away, which I usually do. But that's how we cultivate a better world, folks.
But the thing is, it would be an absolute disservice if we did not.
No, absolutely.
I look at it from another aspect, which is, well, what would it cost that individual if they never go through it? Like, I know I've been through it. I paid the money. Look, use me as an example. I spent thousands of dollars, many more than I'm sure John is charging, because back in the day they charged a lot more. And I have zero regrets. I would have, like you said, the $8,000 to release a phobia in a heartbeat.
Oh God, yeah. What's
that
costing you?
Exactly. There you go. What is it costing you to stay the same?
Back east to see your kids. What's that costing you? Maybe emotional pain,
right?
Not so much physical pain, right? But look at folks. I even tell you this. You come, I'll give you, email me, info@lanlp.com. We'll send you a bunch of free stuff about the courses coming up. Attend the first weekend. If you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. I don't care. It's your loss, not mine. It's just what we do, right? It's reciprocity. We give and hopefully receive in life.
And for anybody, so that in itself can be a limiting belief that people have about money. And
sure,
if you feel that way about giving money to someone like John or myself, that means you feel the same about receiving it yourself. And so the faster you get past this in your programming, the faster you will then get to success. And I know this makes sense to everyone consciously right now. When you get the subconscious work done, then you truly wow, I get it. I'm liberated. This is freaking awesome. And
well, how many, like you were saying before, how many negative beliefs do we have around relationships and around money? Look at money. I can't afford it. That's the biggest one. I can't afford it. That's too expensive. Or with relationship beliefs, I'm not good enough, or they're not good enough, about our health. Oh, I'll never be fit and healthy. I'll never feel good about who I am. Limiting beliefs.
Yeah. Grab another pint of ice cream and another keg of beer and, and making money is hard. That's another one.
Yeah, right.
And that's the thing. And what I learned is if you go to an event and you're going around to the vendor tables, right? You're going to a seminar or an event, and in your mind you're thinking, I'm not letting anything out of my wallet. That's no way. I made the decision. I am not spending a dime.
That's a good one.
And then later, you then decide, well, your business is starting to grow. You're developing it. And now you want a vendor table. You put it up there, and you can't figure out for the life of you why nobody is buying from your table.
That's funny, Brian.
Right?
That's funny. It's true, though.
And so I make it a point when I go to look and talk and listen. I'm not going to spend money at every table, but when I see something that's compelling,
absolutely,
my wallet's out, because I know that when I do it, that it's going to affect my results if that day comes where I want to do it. You see,
it's funny. It's funny that you're saying that, because one of the things Bart talks about a lot is, as much as he reads and he does a lot of work online and researching, he says, if I find one nugget of information that helps me, I'm farther ahead no matter how much money I spend.
Yep.
And that's true. Whether it be, because this is probably, this is a plug for Napoleon Hill, but Think and Grow Rich was the first book I read when I was 13 years old, and it changed my life from that point on. And the next one, because you're going to ask me about books later, was Unleash the Power, Personal Power by Tony Robbins. Those 2 books changed my life, because that's where I learned about NLP, and look where I am now. Right?
Yeah, what a wonderful ride it is to take a magic carpet ride through your mind. And it's not woo-woo. And you're going to do this over and over and go through processes at John's event. And when you do it, you're going to go, wow, is it really that easy? Because it is. Yeah. It's just they have figured out the proper language and the proper techniques to elicit change in your mind for the better. That's a lot of people, real quick, a lot of people are curious. I was this way. I was very defensive and say, no one's going to touch my mind and change my beliefs. I believe in God, and I'm not letting anybody change that. And the cool thing I learned is this was attempted in the Army decades ago using very extreme methods, including hypnosis, including sleep and food deprivation, supreme cold weather, everything you could think of. And they found one thing. They could not change someone's internal values and belief system if it was that well ingrained. If you're already a murderer, then you will continue and they'll bring that out in you. But if you're not, it ain't going to happen. So don't worry about that. And know that what John does, obviously, is for the better, for good, for you.
Well, that's a question I get asked a lot. I'm working on my PhD in clinical hypnosis. Like, what about hypnosis? That's that mind control stuff. That won't work on me. Like, really? Every single day you drive your car, you pass your exit, that's hypnosis. It's called trance. You're reading a book, you get to the end of the page, you're like, oh my God, what did I just read? Or you're watching TV and somebody comes, taps you on the shoulder and you don't realize it right away. You're like, oh, you're in trance. We're in trance actually every single night before you go to bed. It's called a theta stage, right? When you know that point when you're awake, but you're asleep, right in there, best time to reprogram your mind, folks. So I talked about before those 3 things: hypnosis, repetition, and the third thing to change is you're going to have to go to my website, freenlplessons.com. Sign up for the newsletter and I'll send you out. But that's what it is, right? Is put on some great music before you go to bed. Put in an audio tape. Don't listen to the news.
No.
God, you program your mind with that garbage, or watch a scary movie before you go to bed. You have these, you wonder why you wake up with these horrible dreams. Your mind's basically a sponge. It's a computer, and it's absorbing all this energy throughout your day. Who do you surround yourself with, right? We talked about that. What do you surround yourself with?
Yeah.
Books are the best thing. I mean, unfortunately, I don't read a whole lot anymore because I get into a lot of audio because I don't have time to read, sit in one spot and relax, because I don't relax.
That's still reading. Technically,
I know it's still reading. And most people think reading is like, this is the book I'm working on now. You heard this book, Start With Why?
Yes, I've read it.
I love this book. And this is like one of the first books I bought in a long time. And I'm going to probably get it on audio and plug it in my phone and do that. But yeah, that's the one thing. So you got to reprogram your mind. The crap that most people listen to, especially nowadays. You watch Jersey Shore. No disrespect, actors, if you're watching this, you're making a boatload of money, and that's awesome, but it's not good mental food.
Yeah, like you're saying in a nutshell, it's basically what environment are you immersing yourself into?
Right, absolutely.
On a regular basis. And, you could just call reading, you could just call it the ingesting of information. No matter which way you do it, you're still reading. I mean,
absolutely.
I listen to Audible. I don't read anymore on a physical book with my eyeballs, and because I learned that just makes me tired. It's not my style, my modality for learning. Yeah. And once I learned that there was this thing called Audible, I was like, wow.
Oh, that's a godsend.
Exactly. And I can listen to it in the car.
Love to read. They love to sit with a physical book, and that's great too. As long as you're feeding your mind.
Whatever works. Yep.
Do it before you go to bed.
Yep. It doesn't matter which way. Just find that one way and do it.
Let me make a plug for you, okay? Because I know very few of your guests make a plug for you. Because I was at Brian's house, I understand the complexity of what he does. He just doesn't turn on his camera and a microphone. He's got hundreds of pieces of software that are sending out texts and emails and video conferencing. And, you go into his office and he's got this green screen back there and his jacket hanging up, getting ready for his show. It's like watching, if you were sitting in the room with him right now, it's like it's like a symphony going off. Seriously, it really is. It's artful, because I spent 2 days just doing this, setting all this up. And I can imagine you doing it professionally, getting people on every day. So namaste, buddy. God bless. You do a great service to people, and I know all your guests love being on your show. And we're gonna get you so far up there, every one of your guests that you bring on, that people are gonna go, I remember when Brian used to do this in his shorts.
I love it, man. Thank you so much. You're actually the first one that's ever done that, and I never expect it, and I appreciate it. No, it's true. And the old me would say, "Oh, just move on." You know what? I am going to accept it and embrace it, and I thank you.
There you go. Gratitude.
Yes, thank you. So appreciate that. Yeah. And that's why, when you and Bart came to my house, this is a true story. When they came to my house, I had never met either one of them. Bart,
we just barged in,
right? And it was awesome. It was like having my buddies over for play day when I'm in elementary school, because when they came in, that's what we did. We just freaking played.
Well, we're on the same page. We're sharing the same information. We're doing the same thing. So it's kind of like that. You value this, I value this, and he values. So it was like, oh, we've known each other for years.
Exactly. And we were joking with each other as if we knew each other for years. I mean, a lot of sarcasm and a lot of...
You and I were probably making more fun of Bart than him making fun of us.
And he visibly loved it, I could tell.
He loves the attention. He loves attention, so don't get me wrong, folks.
In fact, I think we're giving him too much right now. This is the James Santangelo show.
Oh, God.
There he is, totally, he says. I'm going to get back into that mode.
What else do you need to learn?
Yes, exactly. I got to get out of this laughy mode here. I just love talking about the benefits of NLP. Are there more that, here? Okay, let me put this out there.
Yeah.
One more incredible gift that NLP provided to me, and I think of it as a gift, even though I spent thousands. I'm talking over 10 grand of money with no regrets. Was ultimately, when I went through all these processes, the thing that came out for me was an incredibly increased level of confidence.
Absolutely.
And it was a calm, not a ego or boastful type of, it was just, I'm sure, it's surety. It's certainty, that's the word.
Certainty, yep.
And so because of certainty, my confidence level went up, and everything in my life changed for the better. Just... Please, John is in Los Angeles. Do whatever, some will say, well, I'm over here in Florida and now I'm going to have to fly in a plane. Good, do it. The more you invest, the more you're going to value it, the more you're going to get out of it. Because if you don't value it...
I've had students, one flew from Norway to spend 6 weeks here. Another one from Iceland, people from Canada. Whatever it takes. Look at, if you have a certain idea in mind, a certain destination you want to get to, then it's your human obligation to do whatever it takes to get you there, to share your gifts with the world. I mean, that's what we're doing here, right? Everybody has. My wife works in the hospital. That's her gift. My daughter's working on her CNA and following mom's footsteps along the way. We all have those gifts to share with the world, and it's our responsibility, as Wayne Dyer says. And I love how he says this. It's called responsibility, responding with ability. That's your ability to respond to the world around you. And most of it, nowadays, we talked about this, is so negative, right? Is to share those gifts with the people around you to better your world as well as bettering the world that you live in. I mean, it's not brain surgery, folks. It's simple stuff. But where are you taught this? You learn that in elementary school, in high school? Most parents don't even understand this gift, right? So it's up to people like Brian and I and others that are out in the self-development world to share our gifts. And whether you want to pay for it or not is not up to me or you. It's up to them, right? There's a lot of free stuff in the market.
That's the thing, though, John. If you offered it for free, that's how they would value it.
You wouldn't value it as much as well anyways.
Right. And I love my mentor for charging thousands of dollars. I am happy he did that, because I took it seriously, and I was so in. I mean, I was intense in every hour, and they were long days in this particular course, and I loved every second of it. I was very intense, and I squeezed every ounce of information, experience, and everything out of it that I possibly could. I got the most out of it because I had skin in the game. I had
absolutely.
I had
Absolutely.
thick skin in the game.
Yeah. Look, you're not gonna treat a piece of crap Volkswagen as well as you do a convertible Bentley the same. It's just the way it is, folks. You have, as Brian says, when you have more skin in the game, especially when you have money because you've worked so hard to get it, you value it more. You value your time, you value your effort, you value the results that you're going to get more. So go with that.
And the other part, I'll just reiterate one more time is, think about what it's costing you not to change your life for the better. I mean, think about if you continue with your current limiting beliefs.
Yeah. What if you continue
with your current negative thinking?
Right.
What if you don't improve your business anymore because you haven't done the work, the mind work? What about leadership, persuasion, presentation skills? Skills, what is that? That's selling. Yeah. You must be a seller if you're going to be successful in business, and everybody's selling all the time. The world's
most successful people are salespeople.
Exactly. We are every person on the planet is a salesperson. Yeah. We just don't want to admit it. Many people don't want to.
And who are the best at it? Kids. They're relentless.
Yes.
Right? We got to model their behavior.
And I would add to that women, because they're fearless.
Yeah.
Definitely kids and women. Absolutely. And I was just talking, I have 4 apprentices now, 3 of them are women, and I was lifting them up because I don't know how they do what they do. Any of you women, I love you. I love my wife dearly. I'm very vocal about that. And women, you're special in so many ways. I appreciate you all. All those things, what is it going to cost you? How do you, building confidence, like I was talking about for myself, which is huge. What's it going to cost you if you don't learn how to create instant rapport? Instant rapport, and I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it is instant. It is amazing, and it is so fun.
Because here's the thing about rapport, because it's the basis of everything that we do in life. Everything. Because in order for you to accomplish anything in life, somebody's got to help you get it. Mm. And if you're able to build rapport, if you can make a connection with people, and in fact, I wrote a chapter in my book about getting free stuff, because when people like you, it's called reciprocity. They want to give back. And whether it happens in a restaurant or I get a free drink or a free dessert, I got free tickets to Disneyland once when I was there. It was hysterical. I looked down and it was maybe a minute conversation with the woman at the gate. I looked down and I got 4 tickets in my hand. I'm like, whoa. And I mean, I've had amazing stories where people, like, Tony Robbins actually taught this in class once. He said, I'm going to give you 25 cents and an apple. And with your rapport skills, this was in Hawaii, you got to get back to the mainland. And a couple of people did it. Right? I had another gentleman, I said, go out, go get something while you're on lunch. He came back with a car. Brian. He said, I'm not going to keep the car, but I got to use it for free for an hour. I'm like, there you go, rapport skills. Because they're the basis of everything that we do in life. And you get good at it, and miraculous things show up. People call it abundance, whatever you want to call it, reciprocity, whatever it is. I think it's really communication. When you're good at it, people want to give back.
And you hit on a key point.
We're built.
You hit on a very key point there on everything you get in life is due to the fact that you got help from somebody, and that's a result of rapport building. But that's the key, is getting help. And most people don't get help due to that big ego. Yeah. And this is another thing that NLP will help you with. It will release that egocentricness of yourself in such a wonderful way. We are getting to the end. We're already there, but I've got another deep diving question for you. And then, as promised to everyone, let me do that right now. This is how you can win that 5-night vacation stay at a 5-star resort in Mexico. I'm going to put it up on the screen right now for all of you to follow along. And there are 2 ways there, but let's keep this brief and use the bottom technique, which is text. So take out your phone if you're not watching on your phone. If you are watching on your phone, bring up your texting application. You have our permission to leave for a moment, but keep listening. And type in the phone number 661-535-1624. And then in the message area, type the word PEAK. That's P-E-A-K. So one more time, 661-535-1624. And then type in the message, PEAK, P-E-A-K, hit send. And again, this is all brought to you by powertexting.com And this texting service that you're using is through them. It's an amazing service. If you're in business, you need a texting platform. I highly recommend you hook up with Jason Nast and Rhonda and just drop my name. That's all you need to do. They're just dear people. I love them dearly. Go ahead and do that right now, and I choose a winner every single show, and that winner could be you. All right, here we go. The big heavy hitter question, John. I love to ask this of all my past guests, and it's something that's very personal to each individual. And so the thing is, what I like to say is there's no such thing as a wrong answer to this question. And it's actually just the opposite. The only correct answer is your answer. And so just wanted to kind of pre-frame it that way to let you off in case you were sweating bullets.
Let me off the hook?
Yeah. Before I do that, before I ask you that question, though, I wanted to give opportunity for you to offer your free giveaway prize, which is very valuable. If you want to just take it away and explain what that is, and I'll bring it up on the screen as you're describing it, because I went and did the very same thing, and it's pretty phenomenal.
It's really simple. It's a 7-day NLP mini course. You go sign up for it. You get it in your email. There's an audio program attached to it. There's 7 simple mind hacks. 7 simple mind hacks. And if you're really smart and you get to the 7th one, I'll give you an hour of free coaching. And my hourly rate's about $150 an hour to coach, and it's a 3-session minimum. So you're talking almost $500 to get me on the phone. So if you get to the 7th email and you like it, we get to chat. So go to freenlplessons.com. freenlplessons.com. Thanks, Brian.
And then they will see what I'm showing on the screen there. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah. Then just enter their name and email right there.
There
and
you go.
Bam.
And that's what I did. And I began listening. I spent a good over an hour listening, and I was in awe of your skills, John. You're an amazing practitioner, amazing teacher. You keep everything interesting, light, but you're also very, very serious about your craft. And I can tell that you are heart-centered and you're there to get results for the people who are coming to your events. And this is a great, fantastic way for everyone watching and listening who has not yet experienced NLP. This is a great intro.
It's really simple. It really is.
Yeah.
It's not something complicated. You'll be able to do it. I'll give you a teaser. There's 3 words immediately you should eliminate from your daily vocabulary. But, the word try, and the word problem. And in the email, I tell you what to replace it with, so go check it out.
But the problem with that is I try so hard, John, and some...
I try so hard when I don't, but I have these problems.
We have fun with language. You remind me of another buddy I got, Jay Williams.
Right.
Let's get to that big, heavy-hitting question, because we do need to close this out to respect everyone's time, including yours. And so I love to ask this of every single guest that's been on the show. And here's something I found out really amazing about it, John. And that is there has not been yet 2 people who answered it the same exact way, which is kind of mind-boggling to me. I'm absolutely certain at some point this will happen. But until now, it has not. So are you ready?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes.
All right. John James Santangelo. How do you define success?
How do I define success? Okay. Here's a negative word. Most people aren't going to like this, but for me, negating the past, money. And the unfortunate thing is, as soon as I say that, all this negative stuff comes up in people's minds. Like, oh, that's wrong. It shouldn't be about money. But here's the reality, folks. Money brings freedom. And that's probably a higher chunk answer that I should be saying. But I'm not a monk, and I'm not going to sit on top of a mountain and pray all day. I love to work. I was given that gift by my dad. He loves to work. I love to work. But I also love the value that I place behind it. And the value that I get and the results I get shows me the monetary value. It's like Tony Robbins says, you don't want a bunch of green pieces of paper with dead presidents on it. You want what it can bring you. So money can bring you what? Freedom, security. Here's a big one. Lack of stress. So don't tell me anyone listening to this has never gone to sleep stressing about money, or waking up stressing about money, thinking they don't have how much are they going to pay the bills? They could lose their house. They need to send their kids to college. It's not woo-woo, folks. It's money. In a way that it's a good thing, that it produces the thing that you want here on this planet, the thing that you want to give back to others. I don't know what that is, for you to decide, right? Unless you become a student of mine, then I'll help you coach you through that. But for me, it's about the value that we place on money and what it can do for me. And I love that. I get to share that with, look at the equipment that I have here, the things that I've learned, as Brian and I were talking about, the money that I get to spend on the classes and the books and the webinars and the seminars, the things that make me a better person so I can share my gift with the world. There you go.
I love it. I appreciate the brutal honesty, and I love how you quickly really framed what you meant by that answer, because at no one point in that description did you say, because I want fancier cars, I want a bigger house, or I want a yacht. It wasn't about...
Sure some people want that, and it's nice, and I'd like to have it too. You know, I work towards it. I work hard. So do you, Brian. You work hard for those things. It's okay to have those things. That's what we're talking about, the ego, right? The limiting beliefs I have, I'm not allowed to have that because that's money, and I don't make enough money.
No, it's certainly okay to have those things, but when you were describing, and I said but, when you are describing what you meant by money, it wasn't about material things. It was about freedom. It was about time freedom. It was about what it can bring you, not materialistically, but what you could do with that and turn it around. It's a vehicle, and I'm paraphrasing, but you would say it's a vehicle that enables you to fill in the blank, which is to serve others.
Wasn't that we were just talking about before we got on the call, is that you and I have two businesses we run, and we like to let go of the other one and do this full time and run, but hey, right? It's about money in some way, time and freedom.
Exactly. Love it. Appreciate you, my brother. You were an amazing guest. Thank you for dispelling some of the myths around NLP. It's not woo-woo. It's proven science. Go to NANLP.com. And he also has another one with a /free-e-course, or his much more elegant domain name that he earlier said. Go ahead and repeat it, John.
Free NLP lessons.
Free NLP, please. Even if you've been through a comprehensive NLP course, it's always good to hear it from another instructor. Always, because you will learn more. Repetition is the key to mastery, as I'm sure John teaches at some point in that course as well. And one last thing, John, before we let you go, is what is the absolute best way for people to get in touch with you who want to have a chat with you?
Well, literally go to the website, lanlp.com, or if you want to email me directly, it's info @lanlp.com. Real simple.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, John. And for all of you who came on, thank you, Bart, for all of your support and your fun little...
Thanks to my wife.
company.
Thanks to your wife.
Yes. Thank you for all the women out there.
Thanks for my daughter helping me out today.
We're getting encore, more in the chats. Part 2, when's it coming? Yes. It's coming soon to a computer screen near you. And
you see my bubbies?
That is the one that put all the microphone and the computer and everything together on John's side. All right, with that, we will say good night for now. God bless you all, and we'll see you on a next edition of the Mind Body Business Show. So long and good night for now.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, John.
Thank you for watching and listening. This has been the Mind Body Business Show with Brian Kelly.